Hi.
Whoa.
Welcome, everyone. How you doing? So this is the Funhouse panel. Thanks for coming. I know this is the Always Open panel. I'm joined by some lovely people. My name is Barbara Dunkelman. How y'all doing? Who I got joining me today?
I'm Ashley.
I'm Blaine.
Did you just pour water on your hands?
Yeah.
I'm Tim Geddes. Let Tim host.
Tim, you've been saying that since we worked together.
Can't stop, won't stop.
What is it?
Let Tim host.
Let Tim host. Okay.
Yeah.
It was his, for years, Tim had a campaign to host the Daily Fix at IGN. Mm-hmm. It was always hashtag Let Tim host, because he was
They never let me.
the show and working on it.
Do you want to host this show?
No. Happy to be on it, though.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
I'm just going to address this right away. Some of you may know I was in urgent care last night. I'm totally fine. I am on a medication, though, that I might have to just shit myself. So if I need to, peace out for a minute or two, just ignore it. Be like, oh, she's just getting a drink of water or something.
I think if you want, you can probably take 3.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you meant 3 shits.
Well, maybe that too. Who knows?
Who knows?
The sky's the limit.
You'll wait? Just sit here in silence as I shit myself.
You can hear the noises from backstage.
Jesus.
At least you don't have to take a mic with you
Oh, yeah.
and then try and mute it.
Continue to host.
Doing the show from the bathroom?
We're gonna do cupidity.
Hold on, I'm gonna read these questions real fast. Oh.
But I should be okay. So, are you guys fans of Always Open? Awesome. Good to hear. Anybody not familiar with Always Open?
Get out!
One guy right there. I don't know what you're doing here, but welcome.
We're always open for you. Thank you. So we're
Especially
we're gonna start things off with my favorite game, which is called Cupidity.
Want me to read your questions?
Blaine's got them already.
Oh, I got this
He's
one.
got me covered. But Ashley, would you like to go first?
Yes.
All right.
Always.
We don't have a timer, so we're just gonna go through them at your own pace. Oh, we do technically have a timer up here.
We don't get a buzzer, that's all.
All right, Ashley. Where do you spend the majority of your time, not including work or sleep? At home or away from home?
In bed, home.
Just in bed.
Yeah. Try getting me out of it on a weekend.
What's the best way to handle a bad kisser?
From a distance.
Are bookstores fun?
Absolutely.
Nerd.
Yeah, that's right.
Would you ever wait beside the red carpet at an opening night or award ceremony just to watch a glimpse of your favorite celebrity?
I already have, his name is Bernie Burns.
Aww.
And he looks real good on a red carpet.
So do you.
Barbara just shit her pants.
If you see me go, you'll know what happened.
The shit signal.
Are you better at dealing with details or the big picture?
Details.
All right. Have you ever broken up with someone without being face to face?
Yes.
Ooh. What was that over?
I don't know.
Xbox
Text.
Live.
Xbox Live.
Probably text. Probably only if it's not serious.
Yeah. I did it over the phone one time, but that's only because I was in a different city with the person I was dating. And that was rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like you can't really I feel like you can't really console them as well as you want to.
I feel like back in the 40s, they'd get broken up via postcard. That'd be pretty rough.
Dear lover.
Dearest Barbara.
What about telegraph? It's not working.
Stop.
Stop. Stop.
Or if you want to start dating someone, let's date. Stop.
Yes, stop.
All right. Blaine, you want to
do
go
it.
next?
Yeah, sure thing.
After you make a decision, is it usually final?
No.
Have you ever given out a wrong number to politely reject someone?
To like a solicitor, yes, but to a girl, no.
What, like, if you gave a girl a wrong number, what number would you give her? Like a pizza place?
8675309.
Nobody
no
here
idea.
understands.
It's an American song. I don't know.
What do you think is the best way to connect with someone you're interested in? That's a big question.
Probably after watching a movie and sharing thoughts with it over like queso or something. Be like,
Aw.
Oh, queso.
yeah, I like queso. A lot of
Queso
queso
is cheese, melted cheese. I
good.
didn't know that before getting to the States. Imagine you have a significant other who reveals they have a video of a sexual encounter from a prior relationship and offers to show it to you. Would you want to see it?
I'm good. No thanks.
Do you need to improve yourself?
Yes, always. I think everybody does.
Are you
Except for Ashley, because she's perfect.
Well, yeah.
and Tim?
Yes.
Sorry.
Perfect. Are you a coffee snob?
No, I'll drink whatever brown liquid comes my way. Oh, God, except
Stay away from Barbara.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'll take a glass and I'll be right back.
Man.
Also, that river that's down wherever, that's a lot of
Very
brown water.
All right, Timothy. Mm-hmm. Is that your full name?
No. Optimus. Hit me.
All right, Optimus. Who most often does your laundry?
Me.
Nice.
Nice, nice, nice.
Some of these questions are very timid. Do you like writing lists?
I'm all about the list. Top 10, baby. Let's go.
Would you turn down a potential date because one of your friends thought the person was ugly?
I mean, no.
Would it bother you if your partner kept pictures of previous partners?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll unpack that in a second. Have you ever scolded another adult in public for their bad behavior?
Nick Scarpino. He needs to learn.
Does he have any other kind of behavior?
No. Well, there's creepy, and then there's just mean.
He's both.
He is both.
Are you smarter than absolutely everyone you've ever dated?
No way. Just most.
So you would let your ex or let your current girlfriend keep pictures of her exes?
I'm a firm believer in people's history making them who they are. And I feel like, there's no reason to hide that. I understand it might make people uncomfortable. I'm not one of those people.
Okay.
I really embrace.
But,
Yeah.
you've remained quite good friends with a lot of the people you've dated. You don't want them to just disappear from your life and pretend they weren't part of your
I
past,
don't want
right?
them to disappear, but I also don't want like a picture of my past significant others like up in my house. Or...
What if you hang it up across from the bed so they get to watch what you get up to now?
It's kind of like what I do. Like I don't know why this reminds me of it, but if there's a bug in my house, I kill that bug and I leave it where it is
As a warning to
as
the
a
others.
warning to the other
Yes,
bugs.
that's right.
So maybe it's like here you're watching what's happening.
Although, unfortunately, that just tends to attract other bugs.
I
They'll
have,
just be sitting there munching on the ex-bug, being like, what you doing?
speaking of old pictures of your exes and stuff like that, I think I've talked about this before. I have a breakup box, and it's basically like old pictures and like scrapbooks and gifts from past ex-girlfriends. It's all just in that box.
Why?
Wait, do you
Because I don't want to throw it away. But
I feel
also-
like everyone has that.
The second I end a relationship with someone, everything like cards that they gave me, pictures of us, it's gone.
They just disappear. It's like Avengers Infinity
Do
War.
you have like a symbolic like burning of the things?
No, I just toss it into the trash. I mean, recycling.
I think it's interesting because, you spend so much time with that person. You don't want to, those memories to fade away. Every now and then I'll, look at them and be like, oh, yeah, I remember that.
I feel like it helps me grow to go back every once in a while. Not actively, but when I'm cleaning the house or moving things around, I'll look at old letters and stuff and be like, damn, I was stupid. Man, my handwriting's still bad and things like that. But
Yeah.
I don't know, it's kind of nice to know how far you've come.
Yeah.
I guess it's because a lot of stuff I keep in relationships are things that are sentimental and make me remember loving moments in that relationship. And if I'm in a new relationship, it feels weird to keep things that remind me of those feelings.
Yeah.
I don't know. What about you guys? Do you keep stuff from exes? I'm getting a very timid.
Yeah, a couple of thoughtful nods.
Some lady's like, I kept his skeleton.
I'm seeing a couple of like,
There was a guy I dated a couple years ago. I went over to his house and he had like pictures of him and his ex-girlfriend like on display, like in picture frames on the walls, and I'm just like, like I try not to be like too jealous or controlling of anybody, but I'm like, you plan on taking these down soon? And he goes, oh, I didn't even notice those are still up.
Guys
and then
are
like,
dumb.
I came
They
back a
don't think
month
about
later
those
and
things.
they're still there.
I mean, then you gotta wonder if they're over them.
Yeah.
Like if you're the new person coming into that relationship and you go to someone's house and like everything's decked out, like they're still in a former relationship. I just assume that it's because they wish they were.
Yeah.
That being said, I like forget that things are in my house or on my desk. Like there's the same
you have a
Chipotle napkin on my desk at work right now. I'm just,
Ew.
yeah, it's just sitting there because it's been there for months.
I get piles. Like, do you ever get a cleaning pile where you have a pile where things go when they need to be put away, and then that pile's just been around so long that you just don't see that pile anymore?
I have a
It's
drawer.
like
New
you
home.
can
That's
go
a drawer.
through, you can clean your entire house, but like that pile remains
Yeah.
because your vision just like slides right past it.
I have a drawer that's just filled with that shit. Just like old, weird stuff, yeah.
I have a pile of bomber jackets that at this point is just, that's where my jackets go.
We were asking you about your jacket backstage, and this is my favorite thing ever, how Tim Geddes found that jacket.
I mean, most people might know this. All you got to do is you go to Amazon.com, or I guess Amazon.co.uk, and you type in dope bomber jackets, and then you get dope bomber jackets.
And they're cheap.
It always works. $20.
Ah, nice. Oh, you ready to
I'm
go, Barbara?
doing this right now.
It works, I swear.
Oh yeah, I forgot I still have to go.
All right, here we go. Would you prefer to climb 3 floors of stairs or wait 5 minutes for the elevator?
It auto-completes. Dope bomber auto-completes to dope bomber jacket.
I totally take credit for that.
What else would it complete? Dope bomber material?
I don't know, plane model?
Dope. I climbed 3 flights of stairs. I say that, I'm totally lying. It's probably the elevator.
I mean,
5 minutes is long.
Today's an elevator day.
Today's an elevator day, because
Yeah.
who knows what might happen if I move around too much.
Yeah. Some of Blaine's coffee, who knows?
My pants are now brown.
What's the best way to handle a bad kisser? Repeat question.
Oh, I guess we repeated that. Well, I've dealt with this before. There was a guy I went on a date with who, I don't know how he did it. It's not like he had like small lips or anything like that, but when he kissed me, it was like being kissed by a baby bird that was trying to be fed by its mother. It was like, it was painful and stiff.
Oh.
And so like I kind of just like had him kiss my neck instead, but even that, it just felt like. So
You should have just eaten food and just gone.
Oh, God.
honestly, it's honestly like a deal breaker though. If someone's a bad kisser, like there's not a lot you could do to really make that work.
Quick DV. Oh, I'll come back to it. Do you ever give money to street performers?
Yes. they're good.
Would you be turned on by your partner undressing you before sex?
Yes.
I can feel Trevor's cheeks getting red in the audience. Suppose you have an attractive cousin, and then the cousin is also attracted to you. Suppose both you and your cousin are adults. Would you have non-procreative sex with your cousin? I was emailed these questions.
What the
I did not
fuck?
write that.
I like how we go from who does your laundry to that.
Would you fuck your cousin?
I also like how specific it is. Like, like you're not going to procreate, but like,
Yeah.
would you have like,
For funsies.
just for funsy bang?
Incest is in
Absolutely
2018.
Not. Absolutely not.
Okay.
Like that is ugh. Anybody who even
second
might
cousin?
be related. No. Honestly, if we have like one gene in common, it's
Sure.
not gonna happen.
Would you be willing to date a musician?
I have before.
He'd serenade you, I'm sure.
He was a drummer and he used to drum on me all the time.
Is that hot or like?
No, it was like we'd just be sitting watching a movie and he'd be like,
Aw.
and I'd be like,
It's like a tiny horse or something.
You got the horses, you got the birds.
I'm turned on over here, so.
oink.
So the bad kisser thing, I was fortunate enough to have a girl stopped me after our first kiss, and she said, "That's bad. You're bad." And she taught me how to kiss, and then I was a great kisser from that point forward. So,
Or maybe she's the only one who was ballsy enough to tell you, and all your other girlfriends have just...
I think I had only had like a girlfriend before her, so I was glad that she like guided me down that path of not.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that I'm the most average kisser in the world. Like I don't think I'm definitely not good.
Prove
but, like,
it, you coward.
I don't think I'm bad.
We'll wait for Extra Life.
But my girlfriend Gia, we have the worst kissing chemistry in the entire world. I don't know why. Everything else is fantastic.
Sounds hot.
What makes it so bad? Is this something you both
At some point, she was like calling me out on like not kissing her correctly, and I'm like, what? And now, every single time we're kissing, she starts laughing.
Aww.
And it's like, then it's just teeth. It's just a lot of teeth. And I'm just like, all right, you need to chill.
You guys have been together for a significant
4 years, yeah.
Don't worry, at some point I'm sure you'll get the hang of it.
And sorry, like, it's not as extreme as it's sounding. Like, we do kiss and it's fine, but it's like the moment tongue's involved, that's when things get teethy.
That must be like a great like preemptive thing to sex, like a woman laughing at you.
That's what I'm saying. It is the worst. And then she won't stop laughing. I'm just like, all right, here we are. I guess I'm going on Twitter.
Tim hasn't had sex in 4 years.
It's been a while.
Whoa, I'm back in America. That's crazy. Just to tell you about that this episode is brought to you by 23andMe. 23andMe helps you understand what your DNA can tell you about you and your family story. It's named for the 23 pairs of chromosomes that make up your DNA. And 23andMe DNA Kit is the perfect gift for everyone you love. There's never been a better way to give the gift of genetic discovery to your parents, your siblings, your aunts, your grandparents, and everyone else on your list. I say aunts, but I also could say aunts, depending on what you prefer. It's the one gift that you could buy the entire family that will be unique for each loved one. It's so easy to do. You simply spit into the tube provided in your 23andMe kit. Register your sample to the personal 23andMe account, and in a few weeks, receive your personalized online report. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Both Meryl and I have used 23andMe, and we love it. She bought a kit for her dad as a gift, and they really enjoyed comparing their DNA results and trying to dig a bit more into their family history. You get to learn so much about your past and all your genetic traits and all that fun stuff. With 23andMe's Ancestry Composition Report, you could explore where your DNA is from out of 150 plus regions worldwide. Now through December 25th, get a special discount on your 23andMe kit. Order your DNA kit at 23andme.com/open. That's the number 23andme.com/open. Again, 23andme.com/open. Enjoy. And now, back to London. Well, speaking of which, so I have a question that I'm going to pose to the panelists up here as well as myself. And I would like to know what the funniest thing that has happened to you in the bedroom. And this could be related to sexy stuff or just in the bedroom location.
So I don't know if this is funny as much as it's just very sad. But I feel like it fits the theme of this episode.
Maybe sad for you, funny for everyone else.
Yeah, maybe. It was when I lost my virginity for the first time. Only time, I guess that's how that works. And, it was me and my girlfriend. We'd been together for about a year at that point. I was 21, very excited about this, obviously. And as it was about to happen, I realized I was very bubbly in the stomach. We started going at it. It was awesome, so awesome. But then I was like, oh no, it's diarrhea time.
Oh.
First time. So it was all happening. I was like, I can't let this ruin it. Like, she's having such a moment right now. Like, this is like a deep connection between us. I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom. I didn't say it though. I just was like, I need to just get this over with as quick as possible so I can get to the bathroom.
Oh.
So I just start jackrabbiting it, you know what I mean? Finish, run to the bathroom, and God, I destroyed that thing. It was horrible.
It would have been better if you're like, I'm gonna shoot.
Oh, God.
How far away was
I was
the
worried
bathroom?
about that. It was not far enough away. So then I go in. She didn't know what was going on. She thought I was just cleaning up or something. And I go back in, and then she immediately, after we cuddled and did the whole thing, and then eventually she was like, "Let's do it again." I'm like, "Yeah." And then that's when the smell kind of overcame everything. And I totally blamed it on the dog. You know what I mean?
This reminds me of a story. I don't know if Josh Flanagan ever told you guys the story. I don't know if he told it on Always Open or the podcast.
Is the booth poop bathtub?
He had a threesome years and years and years ago, and apparently like one girl left early, and then they both woke up, and there was like a shit handprint on the pillow next to Josh, and then they went into the bathroom, and there was like shit everywhere, like in the toilet, in the bathtub. And like they never figured out who did it, like who the culprit was, because no one would own up to it.
It could have been Josh. He just
Might have been.
werewolfed in the night.
I blame Josh.
Yeah.
I feel like he would own up to it though.
Yeah. Josh has a bunch of interesting sex stories, like really weird ones too. I love hearing about his sex life. Oh God.
I'm glad because he's here, and so is part of his family. So hopefully they're here today. No, I don't think so.
I've talked about this before. Like, you know, I've had the girlfriend who couldn't have sex without her dog being in the room because the dog would bark and yell, so it was like on the bed. So that's a whole thing. But we've discussed that.
Doggy stuff.
My funny sex story is more of a sex semester. When I was in college and I was living in a co-op, I thought it'd be great if I got a lofted bed. So it's this bed that is basically the top part of a bunk bed, so you could stick a desk or a couch underneath the bottom part. And this thing, like, you know when you go into a parking garage and your tires squeal when you take a small turn? It was like that. You'd touch it and you'd go, eek! Add that to the fact that it was next to the wall, so any movement would sway it and you would just boom, 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 boom. So I just had the noisiest sex life, and everyone in the co-op would know when I had sex. And it was just the worst. Plus, like, the ceiling was like this high off the bed, so I was just constantly like, squeak, squeak,
I was gonna ask, like, could you not fully thrust then? Like, were you just kind of like
Just have,
micro
vibrating inside of her?
Because we're on top of each other, and then just like everyone
it's
would
more
know.
vibrating than anything.
Yeah.
Like I
Or
would
just,
come out
insert and then just like move around.
I would come out of my bedroom after having sex, and like the movie room was right next door, and people would be like,
Good old Screechy Blaine.
yeah. So that was awful. Don't buy a lofted bed. Just don't do it. I know that in college you're not gonna have a lot of space. Don't buy a lofted bed.
That's the one that has
They
like
seem
the
like
desk.
such cool like efficiency spaces.
Absolutely. But you will destroy your sex life. It is gone.
Yeah.
I mean, Bernie's told most of our interesting ones. But I think the best one is still the first New Year's we were together, we were dating, we went to Vegas. It was like a whole thing. We spent a lovely New Year's Eve with Gavin Dan, and managed to go through like the entire drink list of like every crazy umbrella drink we could possibly get. We went pretty hard, and I was still in like my post-Australia mode, which was like, let's get after it. And so I got completely hammered.
Fucking drunk.
Yeah, but I was like, you know what? This is our first New Year's together. Like, this is really nice. I feel like, you gotta like sex it up a little bit.
So why remember it?
But by the time we got back to the hotel, you pass a point where you're like, you're party, and then you're like, you know what sounds great is just not being conscious. And so, like, I hit my wall. I was sliding down it. I was so tired. And I was like, look, it's New Year's. It's important. I think we should like have sex and stuff, but I'm not gonna be conscious for it. I'm gonna fall asleep right now. You go ahead and you do whatever you like. Nothing, but I did manage to wake up just enough to warn him, nothing new.
Nothing new.
Do whatever you like.
And then I just like
nothing
passed
new.
out. He was like, no, I'm good. So that was our first New Year's.
I can't think of anything that's more of an instant turn off.
Then just like, I'm gonna pass out.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, I'll be like a floppy body, have fun.
Do whatever. I think when Bernie told me that story, you like went, no butt stuff.
Yeah, it was nothing. The rule was nothing new.
New.
That was like if it's new, I want to be awake for it. Thanks.
I want the experience.
Funny, that's what I say every night before I go to bed. No butt stuff. So mine's a recent story. Happened within maybe the last 2 months or so.
What's up, Trev?
I got permission to tell this story. So I don't know if this is like right after or right before we were going to see the Mission Impossible movie. It was around that time. We had Mission Impossible on the brain. But so I'm on birth
Okay,
control.
hold on. Did one of you try to suspend the other one right above the floor?
No. That would be an impossible mission.
There's an idea.
The soundtrack is actually playing for this story right now.
It sounds very cinematic.
Are you guys able to hear okay still? I didn't hear if that was a no or a yes, so.
It sounded like this.
What is that?
It's getting louder.
That
sounds epic. Is that Halo 6?
Let's go see that panel.
I think it's the Genlock thing.
Oh.
But I think it's almost over. Should we wait it out? Okay, now I'll tell us her. All right, so.
The most epic sex story in the world. Trevor took off his shirt. I showed him my boobs.
I'm so bothered by this right now.
I'm just picturing everything happening like in slow-mo now with lots of like wind in the hair and like turns to camera.
I went Super Saiyan during sex. All right, cool. So. This is really leading up to a story that's like not even that exciting. So I'm on birth control.
Okay.
So we're safe. Usually,
So you're riding bareback.
my partner finishes inside me. It's safe, I'm on birth control. But when this happens, usually you want to have like a towel around or a tissue to like, after you pull out, you have something to catch the semen.
Like
The baby goo.
And so we just had finished having sex, and Trevor was on top of me. And this is when like all of a sudden both of us go, where's the tissue box? Where's the towel? And we realized that somehow it had fallen on the floor. And so Trevor goes, hold on, wait, I got this. And all of a sudden, he's on top of me. I just see the tissue box start, like, he starts going, dun, 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 dun. And all of a sudden, the tissue box rises. He has it hooked onto his big toe. And it just... And yeah, so there's also not a better feeling too of like someone still being inside you and both of you laughing your asses off. Because it's like, oh, no.
Oh, God.
So that happened. Good job. It was a magical moment. Hello again, London friends. It's me, back in America, here to tell you about MeUndies. You know them, you love them. MeUndies sponsored this episode of Always Open. This is the year that you could finally tackle your holiday shopping early. And guess what? You could get everything you need for you and your loved ones at MeUndies. MeUndies uses the coveted micromodal fabric, which is 3 times softer than cotton. If you've never felt this fabric, get ready to experience pure bliss in underwear form. You could also get a style that is perfectly suited for you. Men and women can each choose from 4 different cuts. I got a pair recently that has sloths on them. I know you guys like sloths in the UK. That's just an assumption. That is probably true, because who doesn't like sloths? And it's my new favorite pair of underwear, as well as my other 20 to 30 pairs of MeUndies I have. It might be more. I might be lying. But I love them. I wear them almost every single day, and I wouldn't have it any other way. This holiday season, MeUndies will be releasing a new print every Tuesday. That means you'll have no excuse not to celebrate the holidays, right down to your very core. But why stop at undies? This year, MeUndies is launching their new holiday prints in lounge pants and onesies as well. Onesies! Sorry, I really like onesies. MeUndies has a great offer for our viewers. For any first-time purchasers, when you purchase any MeUndies, you get 15% off and free shipping. To get your 15% off your first pair, free shipping, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/open. That's MeUndies.com/open. All right, cheerio. So after that, I think we're gonna take some questions from you guys. If you have any like questions you want to ask about Always
Make it
Open,
juicy.
or like some cool topics that we could talk about, we have a microphone getting set up over here. So feel free to line up. We have about half the panel left, so we're gonna take some cues from you guys.
We can use the soundtrack right now.
Yeah.
It was rude of them not to wait, really.
Good morning, everyone.
Now's your time.
Good question.
Yeah.
No pressure.
So it was one just to add for a really funny sex story. So one time my wife and I, she's up on top of me. We've mostly finished. Kind of
Mostly.
Mostly. He finished, she didn't.
We were done, but still contemplating additional activities.
Oh.
And I said something stupid, and she just flicks her shoulders at me whilst leaning over me and smacks me in the face with one of her boobs.
Nice. You got
Nothing like a good
punch.
boob slap.
I got smacked clean across the face with a boob.
Nice. She must be stacked.
It was,
Well done.
It was freaking hilarious, and I've never told anybody that story.
And now you've told
I'm just picturing
hundreds.
like a roundhouse.
Thank you very much, Barbara. I'm glad to see you back here.
Thank you.
No, there's 2 mics.
So when
Yeah,
you
there's sort of
back there, we
tiers.
can
Yep.
alternate.
Yeah, I think we're
So
going
if you guys back there. Let me know.
Yep.
Hello. So I am starting my second year of my degree studying sexual health with the aim of becoming a sex ed teacher. I was wondering if you guys, or what you guys would deem vital to have on sex ed curriculum.
Well, I mean, we're from America, so we don't abstinence, I guess.
Yeah, but wait. till
Preferably
there.
not abstinence.
That's a big
How
question.
did you first learn about sex?
I actually, well, in Canada, we have a very good sexual education system. Like, I think my first sex ed class was like the 4th or 5th grade. Of course, everyone was giggling at every single word.
Do it.
Penis.
Yeah, we still have that in our class now, and we're full of 25, 30-year-olds, so
Yeah, you never grow out
it
of
doesn't change.
I think different types of contraception and how to access those things would be good information. I think a lot of people also are misinformed in like different ways you could get pregnant. I think a lot of very, very young people think you could get pregnant from butt sex.
There was a story about a couple in, I believe, China who'd been trying to get pregnant for 4 years.
No.
Went to a doctor and realized that they'd been doing it wrong the entire time, and that you can't actually get pregnant from putting it in the butt.
Yeah.
And then they immediately got pregnant, and they were so grateful to the doctor they sent her chickens.
Oh.
What a wholesome story.
There's also, this is something that I wish I learned more about in school, is just like different type of sexual activity for LGBTQ. Yeah. Woo! Because I don't know much about it, and I wish I knew more. And I think a lot of people growing up should probably be learning that stuff too.
As a person that in my early sexual days, in having all those pregnancy scares, which are the fucking worst and most stressful thing ever.
Are you pregnant?
You've been pregnant?
I'm pregnant. Yeah, learning about ways of like contraception stuff. Oh, thank you. It's Tim's.
Congratulations.
Learning the different ways of contraception and knowing when the windows are that you can become pregnant and all that stuff is a very vital lesson. And then also like learning about like the ways to navigate the bits.
Did you just go like this?
It went from really not graphic to extremely graphic.
Yeah. Like, I had to do that research on my own on the internet, and I was better off for it. But if I learned that in a better setting where I could have asked questions, that would have been cooler. So.
I like it was the movie The Girl Next Door, where it was the kids who tried to make like a new sex ed video using porn stars.
Oh.
I could use that video.
I don't remember that.
I learned in sex
It's
ed-
amazing. Has the dude with the nice cheekbones from, anyway. Moving on.
Tim was.
I think it's important just to not keep it too scientific and real, because sex is a real thing that just happens in everyday life. And I think that it's important to not make people feel uncomfortable and to make everybody feel welcome. And like, no matter how old you are, you always have some weird feeling going on that like you might not understand. And I think it's important to be able to have those dialogues and discussions.
Yeah.
So,
I think also like with porn and even movies and stuff, people don't realize like how funny and gross sex could be and just real. Like people fart, it's wet, it's like dirty, it's like people don't tend to know that. and
Like
think
there's
that-
like a smell. There's that sex smell, which you don't see any of that important. It's all performance.
Sometimes you have explosive diarrhea right when you're about to climax. Things happen.
it happens.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think there is something, and this might just be exclusive to America, but like, I was raised to fear sex. Like, it was the fucking worst. And I remember the first time, or first couple of times having sex, I was like stressed, and I felt bad and guilty. And like, if we can change the perception on that, so that would have been a more enjoyable experience. Because now I look back and it's like, oh yeah, no, that was fun, and I was fine. But it's just like so stressful during the time I couldn't even enjoy it, you know? Yeah. So changing perception on that would be great. Let's do that for kids. I don't know.
I'll try my best. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good luck with schooling. Hello.
Good morning, guys. You all right?
Doing good.
Well,
Doing good. Haven't shat myself yet.
So, I'm part of a group called the RTX Loners, and we have a small chat where we chat and stuff. We're having a bit of a debate.
who are you on loan to?
Sorry. Loners.
People can just borrow you?
I think that meant
Yeah,
a
why
loan,
not?
maybe. Loaner? I don't know.
We're having a bit of debate in the chat, so I just wanted your guys' opinion. Should pineapple go on pizza or not?
Dude,
Look, you know what? I don't think we need anyone gatekeeping what pineapples are and are not allowed to do. If that pineapple wants to go on a pizza, let it, man.
here's my thing, man. Pineapple pizza is not the best pizza, but it's also not the worst.
You know what it is? It's more like a desserty pizza. It's like it's sweet.
Yeah, shout out to pizza and its versatility, you know?
Yeah. I'm fine with pineapple on pizza. I prefer, like, I'm honestly a cheese pizza fan. Like, I just like plain
Shout out to cheese pizza.
right? But like, a friend of mine told me about this pizza that they would do, which is pineapple and green olives. And at first I was like, fuck, ew, that's disgusting.
No, it's very tempting to judge.
But it's a good mix of savory and sweet. It's salty and sweet, and it's really good. So try it out.
I'm pro pineapple on pizza. Yeah.
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 It's a nice little treat every now and again.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Hello. So I was just wondering, you guys are sort of in the public eye, and some of you are actually dating people who are also in the same situation. Do you find that, like...
We all are. Actually.
Yeah, oh, you are? My bad. Do you find that kind of affects your romantic relationships, and is it hard to kind of toe the line between sharing your lives and keeping a relationship private?
Good question.
Definitely.
I mean, we're very much about, before we tell a story, anyone, we're like, are you okay if I tell this story?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, getting blindsided by those is not fun.
Yeah.
But as long as you like have permission, then it's kind of funny.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be difficult, especially because everything you do could be so public, especially if a relationship ends. And then a lot of people ask questions, and you know, I've had that happen to me. I dated someone else who was in the public eye, and then our relationship ended for reasons that we kept to ourselves. And of course, everyone's like, "Oh, what happened to so and so? Why'd you break up?" And it's like, I understand that we were public about the relationship, but it's still like, what someone's business or not, it's hard to really say, because like, yes, we were public about the relationship, but does that mean we have to be public about everything that happened in it?
It doesn't.
I don't think it does, but there's some people who kind of feel entitled to that information. And it's something that you have to be mindful of when you put your relationship out there. And for the most part, I'm someone who is extremely happy in her relationship right now and loves sharing everything about it. And yeah, so.
Oh. So cute.
Yeah. I think it's all about being honest and open with your partner and having the conversations to know where both of your lines are, and to kind of understand what's okay, what's not okay, and also to have an understanding that when I'm on camera, I'm kind of amping things up. I kind of like present Gia in a way that's like
Teethy.
hyperbole, like exaggerating some of her, and very teethy. But it's like, I always check in with her. I'm like, did I go too far? Like, do I need to dial something back? And I think even just having those conversations like allows you to push the boundaries a little further each and every time.
With me and Alana, since she was at IGN and working for a professional news publication and was kind of in like a male-dominated field and had like shitty commenters that were like, boobs. I wasn't super comfortable with being too open about like our sex life and things like that. Now she works at Funhouse, so fuck it. Like, we can talk about it. But no, I feel like we've kind of been, we've withdrawn a lot of that kind of information, but we're still pretty public about our relationships, and it hasn't been an issue. It's fun. Like, sharing our love for each other, I think, is a really cool thing that I've never had in another relationship.
The biggest part of it, why people share when they're both like in the public eye and things like that, it's because there's a sense of pride, and like you want people to like feel the happiness that you feel and that you're proud to be with this person. And there's some people who prefer to be a little more private, and that's their prerogative.
Yeah.
Thank you for the question. It's a good one.
Thank you. Love the show.
Thank you.
Cool. My question is, what's the worst Freudian slip you've ever made?
Oh, mine happened recently. I went up to a place, I was with like the Funhouse guys, and we're all getting dinner, and then everybody's ordering their meals. It's like during RTX, actually. And I walked up to the person that was taking the order, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll have the kale salad, add breast. And then I was like, oh God. And then like the little girl like looked at me, and she was like kind of wearing like a low-hanging shirt, and I was like, chicken breast. and we were both just kind of like, okay, that'll be $15. Here, use your card. That was a bad one.
Breasts.
Add breasts, chicken breasts.
I don't think I have any good answer.
I don't know if I have either.
I feel like we work really hard to just insert puns or wordplay exactly into everything where possible. So it's almost difficult to do it without thinking.
Yeah. I feel like I pick up on people's Freudian slips better than I make them. Just like if someone ever says something wrong, like if Blaine said something about breasts, I'd be like, breasts. Because I'm like the 5-year-old of the group. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey.
Hi.
Just wanted to ask, I know that a lot of the people on stage have experienced long-distance relationships, both positively and maybe negatively. I just wanted to know what your thoughts on that were.
Man.
Well,
If it's worth it or not, that sort of thing.
Oh, that's kind of a hard thing to answer if it's worth it or not, because some of them
may vary.
Yeah, some of them end up working out and some of them don't. There's some people who stay in long distance relationships for a very long time, and that's good for them because they're busy people. I know that Blaine, you've talked about how like it actually works really well for you and Alana.
Yeah, as a person that's been in a distance relationship for 2.5 years, it just works really well for our personalities because we're both like fiercely independent people, and we're also crazy busy. But it's nice to like hop on Xbox Live every now and then and play Gears together or something like that. And then the time that we do have together is just extra special. You also save a lot of money by not constantly being around your partner. But you also spend that money on plane tickets. So it's all kind of like a mix, you know, but like, is it worth it for me? Absolutely. You know, this has been one of my best relationships I've ever been in. Yeah, I'd say go for it, you know. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, okay.
Yeah, I'm someone who, like, I was in 2 different long-term relationships. One lasted a little longer. But with that one, there was never really an end in sight for me moving there or him moving to me. And after a while, it kind of got to the point where it's like, well, where is this really going? And it just was too straining, I think, on both of us to have to keep doing it, and we just decided to end it because of that. So, I mean, everyone's different. Also, like, some people do long distance from country to country, which I don't know how.
Nah.
That would be brutal for me.
Time change is already hard enough, like Texas to California, 2 hours.
Yeah.
I can't imagine, like, I actually briefly, a girl in Germany, and that was like 9 or 10 hours, and I was like, no, this is hard.
Yeah, I have the same situation as Barbara, where I've had multiple long-distance relationships now, and when there isn't an end in sight, it makes it very hard. But when there is, like with my current girlfriend, she went to grad school for about a year in the middle of our time dating, and you know, it actually was really nice in some ways because we got to have our own space and be busy alone, but still talk all the time. But just having that end, it kind of made it exciting. You know, it kind of was like something that we're building towards. And when you don't have that, there's fear. You know, of the uncertainty of what the future might look like.
Yeah, and for me, it was very much the same, having an idea, like, where is it going? Like, is someone going to move eventually? If the answer is no, then ultimately, what are we doing? And sometimes you don't have to have an answer about what is ultimately going on because, hey, maybe it's working right now and who gives a shit? And sometimes you want to know if it is going somewhere, and if so, then you kind of need an answer like, who's moving, where is the gap closing? Do you have any idea when the gap is closing? Then great.
Mind the gap.
That was really helpful for me, and that also was like, all right, well, look, we both know that I'll be the one moving.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I also think there's a lot of people also don't need the same things in a relationship. Like there's some people who just need like a personal connection and to be able to talk to someone and have someone there. So depending on what kind of relationship you need, it could work out, but it could also be really, really, really hard.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. What are you holding, by the way?
It's an orf.
The orf?
Yep, it's Orf.
Good morning.
Hello.
What's the furthest you've gone for a friend or a friend has gone for you to get one of you into or out of a relationship?
Oh, God. Very, very, very far. Very, very, very far. My friend Alfredo, you might know him from Achievement Hunter.
Familiar.
I've been a very close friend of him for a long time, and there's been times where I've had to be like, hey, man, like, I really got to talk to you about this. We got to work through this. And I feel like you should always be there for your friends when they're going through hard times, because sometimes when they're in relationships that they don't know are toxic, you really need to help be there for them and like understand that they might not agree with you and just keep pushing through, because they need to be able to see the forest from the trees.
I had a friend, so he was my best friend in high school and college. We were dating two other best friends. It was two girls, they were also best friends. So it was like perfect, it was great. My friend cheated on the girl that he was dating, and therefore her friend didn't like him, and by proxy me, so then he basically ended my own relationship by cheating on his girlfriend.
Don't cheat.
Yeah, I remember being on the phone with him. I was like, we were just talking. He was like, yeah, I screwed up, man. I can't believe I did it. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. You cheated on her, you idiot. Like, why would you do that? And then, like, I saw my girlfriend's car pull up, and I was like, oh, Kristen's here. I wonder what she might be here to break up with me. And he's like, she's not going to break up with you. And then she came up to the door, broke up with me, and I got back on the phone. It's like, yeah, she broke up with me. That's on you, dude.
Yikes.
It's on you.
Anything you got?
I mean, I always had like code words with girlfriends. Like if we were out somewhere and someone was like locked into a conversation or a pickup that they didn't want to be, always had like the code word.
Like a safe word?
Yeah.
Pickles.
There was like, oh hey, we gotta go, or like, what are you doing hitting on my girlfriend? Or like we would rescue each other no matter like whatever it took.
Yeah.
But that's not relationships quite so much.
Yeah, mine story is not really relationships either. There was a friend of mine who we were at some event, and there was a guy who apparently the night before she went out drinking with, and he got a little bit too forward with her and tried to have her come back to his room and was like very inappropriate. And this was someone who was like in a authority figure kind of place. And the next day, because she told me about this and she was very upset, he walked in the room and I did not stop staring at him. And I was mad dogging him. And I was just like shaking my head at him. And I was just like, I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna fucking kill that guy. Jeez. I was so angry. And then like apparently he texted my friend. He's like, hey, your friend looks like she's gonna bite my head off. Did you talk to her about last night? And she's like, yeah, I did. And then like he ended up apologizing and all this stuff. And like he ended up getting fired from his position that he was in and all this stuff. So I like to think that was maybe something I helped with.
Damn, Barbara. That's awesome.
Fucking mess with my friends. Or anybody.
I can't imagine going into a room where Barbara's like, fuck her. It'd be terrifying. I would leave that room immediately.
My body was literally going,
oh, she's got the diarrhea again.
my bowels.
Thanks for your question.
Thank you.
Hiya, my question is mainly for Barbara, but what's your favourite pun that you've ever said?
Guys? I don't know if I could pick a favorite. I really like the N-wrong one. What went N-wrong? It's a long story. But like whenever someone's like, oh, make a pun, because that's always fun to do, because I always have them just floating in the top of my head. My go-to one is, I need glasses to do math because it helps with division.
Division's hard.
You've done some like sneak attack puns on like the podcast, and it just like it's a wave of emotions where I'm just like laughing, but I also hate you. It's like I don't know what the sensation is.
Laughs or groans, they all feed.
You're like, that's what it sounds like. Jeff
been-
Goldblum laugh.
I've been asked to leave the room before because of them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
So, what is the most memorable experience you've had with a partner?
I had a pretty memorable experience last night with Trevor. No, that's not what you're thinking. So he was very lovely and took me to urgent care and gave up his whole night and everything we were doing to take care of me.
How about that socialized health care?
And yeah, thank you, by the way, for the health care. And one of the things I had to do when we were at the clinic is I had to pee into a cup because they were going to take a urine sample.
Sounds hot.
And the place we were at didn't have any tables, it didn't have anything to rest your stuff on. It was just basically chairs. But I also had to fill out this form. So Trevor held my pee cup. And he basically was just like, "Aw, it's warm." And so he was just holding my fresh pee while I was filling out this form. And it was just a very, very sweet, touching moment.
Can't handle you two. You guys are fucking adorable. There was one time where I was having a really, really rough night recently, and I was just like fucking not in the mood to go out. But I had been told, hey, you got to come to the Bloodfest screening. And it's like, okay, like I'm excited to see that movie, but I was like feeling sick. I was tired, I was stressed. And like all like my boss and a couple of other people were like, you gotta come to it. Like we have to be there. We need you guys to come out and support and stuff like that.
Blaine is in Bloodfest as a heads up. He's also
Spoiler
as
alert.
well a cameo.
And I just remember just like not being down to do it, and like Alana was like supporting me. She's like, hey, do whatever you need to do. She's like, maybe if you go to the gym, you'll feel better. And so like I was like, yeah. And like I went to the gym, and then my night started improving, and I was like, okay, I'm feeling a little bit better. And so I show up to the screening, and I'm walking up these stairs, and I feel a hand slip into my hand. And I was like, I looked, and it was someone that looked incredibly familiar, but it took me like 5 seconds to realize that Alana had flown to from San Francisco to Austin to surprise me. And everybody was making me go to the screening because they knew that she was going to be in town.
That's awesome.
And I was like my brain was just
was so
exploding. And that was like the coolest thing, having that random surprise that I didn't expect, just completely 180'd my night and couldn't stop smiling. The movie was great. It was a good night.
That's great. Recently, we did a live show in San Francisco, and every year we do a live show. And one of my things is, anytime I get the opportunity, I try to crowd surf. I highly recommend it. And I've been doing it the last couple years. This year, for my entrance, I came out with my girlfriend, and I was like, we're going to crowd surf together. Like, this is going to be awesome.
Aww.
And we both did it, and we made out while crowd surfing. And they said it wasn't possible. Ladies and gentlemen, it is. And like, honestly, time stopped, like all jokes aside. Like, I remember like it was like 10 seconds, but it felt like an hour. And like, it was just such a great moment where I'm like, it really just felt like we have succeeded together. You know, we were literally floating on people.
He was holding her. She was smiling, and he was kissing her teeth.
Teeth everywhere.
Some guy was cupping Tim's balls.
It was
magical.
It was so good. It was the most epic thing ever because I was up there and I didn't plan to make out with her until I saw her, like coming at me, and it was like kind of a Spider-Man kiss because we were like both upside down. It was amazing.
Oh my God.
You
Is
start
that on
swimming
film
to her?
Anywhere?
Oh yeah, it's on film. Of course, my whole life's on film.
Sure. I gotta see that.
I remember one of the.
That's awesome.
It was a few months after Bernie and I had started dating, but it was one of those ones where you're like, this one is like the keeper. Mm-hmm. He flew to San Francisco to go to the IGN holiday party with me. We were expecting, a really nice, fun night, and my cat, who I'd been putting through chemo, just collapsed that night. And so instead of having like this amazing, great time, we put my cat down. And decided to go to the party anyway because that's where all the free alcohol was, and I didn't want to remember the night.
That was a night. I remember the night, and I remember you with that night.
You remember me that night? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you guys worked together.
Quite the scene.
Yeah.
I love how much San Francisco is brought up. It's such a
I was
weird
gonna say.
weird thing. I love it.
But that he adjusted so well to the night. He took care of me with like putting my cat down and being a sobbing mess. and then getting absolutely destroyed. And then he got me home, and he showered me and everything that I needed because I was a wreck of a human being. And he was just so lovely about the entire thing. And that was actually the night I told him I loved him. And I remember it. And like the next day, I was like, I think I might have told him.
It's kind of.
But he swore up and down that like I hadn't said anything I should be embarrassed about, because he was just like, and he kept it in his pocket until like a couple days later, and then we
said it for reals.
Yeah.
I got a tangent real quick.
It was so lovely.
Ashley, I need to tell my favorite Ashley Jenkins story, which was similar to this night. It wasn't this night, but it was at the Coco that we did.
Oh, was this where I sat on the hamburger?
Everyone got so drunk, and I was the only sober one, and so I drove to McDonald's to get everybody a shit ton of nugs and some McDoubles and stuff.
Shit ton of nugs.
We got so many burgers, and we came back. Ashley, I've never seen a human being more happy to see me. I walk in, and Ashley's like, "Give me the McDonald's," and I give it to her. She starts just throwing hamburgers at everybody, and everyone's just like, grabbing them and eating them. It was like this crazy scene, and I just look at her. She tosses some down and then just sits down on the cheeseburger, and it just kind of explodes. And I'm like, "Do you know what you just did?" And she looks at me and goes, "Yes." Special one. Love it.
I think, a lot of moments like where you're sick or not feeling well or like in your like most vulnerable state and someone takes care of you is like the best thing. Another thing I'll mention about Trevor, because I like talking about him, is I fall asleep watching TV a lot when we're watching TV late at night.
Do you watch Law and Order SVU?
I don't, but I should.
Dick Wolf.
But he'll, like, if I fall asleep and like he'll get up while I'm still asleep, he'll put my phone in the charger, put a glass of water next to my bed, put the toothpaste on my toothbrush and set it at the sink, and then like gently wake me up to like help me to bed. And it's like the sweetest thing ever.
Dude, the toothpaste thing, that's a pro maneuver.
That's
a nice touch.
Wow. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like a fucking hint, Trev.
We like to brush our teeth before bed. Who doesn't?
I'll pick Alana off of the couch, and she'll instantly wake up because she knows that I'm like a second away from knocking her head against the door frame. But it is always very fun to carry her, and she's just like...
She turns into Chewbacca?
The cutest Chewbacca. Then I just throw her on the bed.
Now I just want burgers also for Ashley.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
And they sound delicious.
You get a burger.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
£1,000,000 oh wait, no, wrong panel. This is for Barbara. If you were to choose between world peace or marrying Mariel, what would be your first stance?
Well, I don't know if you know this, but Meryl's a lesbian. So I don't know if our marriage would go very well. Because I like the dick. I would have to say world peace. Sorry, Meryl. Boo!
She comes down from the ceiling. Wrestling match.
It's me, bitch! Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, I work in live entertainment, and I moved over here from Australia to do that, and my visa runs out in a few months. And live entertainment in Australia isn't as big as it is over here or in the States or in Canada. I just wanted to get your opinion on moving overseas or having to change careers just to fit in with your work in that sense, if that makes sense.
I mean, moving is always difficult. Luckily, Canada to the U.S. was pretty simple, just because of the North American Free Trade Agreement, and just there's a lot of easiness in terms of like going from one country to the other. Getting like a social security number and setting everything up, and basically like starting off in a fresh country without any knowledge of how to live in that country was very intimidating. But I'm not really sure I'm like qualified to answer that question, because I moved to the States to work at Rooster Teeth, so I didn't really have to like change too much. It was like that was what I was tailored to do.
I would say, like, I mean, having gone through college fairly recently, how many years was that? I don't know.
It's been a while, man.
It has been.
We're old.
It's been longer than you think.
Older. I had a bunch of contingency plans. Like, I had like a plan. It was like, okay, I want to intern at Rooster Teeth and hopefully maybe get a job out of that. But then I had like plan B, C, D. So I would say just like start planning now. Starting now, you know, you're reaching out to these companies and hopefully looking for hopeful jobs and stuff like that. But, you know, if you don't, be a barista for a bit until you can get on your feet. I mean, it's just like plan so that it doesn't sneak up on you, and then you're like, fuck.
Well, that's the thing. I am in the industry, and I do tour around Europe and around the UK, and I've gotten to that level of my career, and having to change careers at 27 might be a bit hard going back home. That's the other thing.
Sure.
It's never too late. You're never too old to change what you want to do and to change careers.
27 is actually, I still think, pretty young. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel like it because you're, going through it now, but it's, in the grand scheme of things. I mean, like, what, fucking James Cameron didn't start directing movies until he was, like, in his mid-40s or something.
Yeah.
He's, like, one of the greatest directors of our time. Avatar, have you seen it?
Just do what's best for you, basically.
You could just play Fortnite and turn a camera on and hope for the best.
Also, I think it may be weighing your priorities. What are you willing to do and what are you willing to give up for the things that you want to do? If you are willing to move in order to stay in the industry that you're in because you really like it, then looking at that move like that seems more worth it than, if it's not the thing that you want to be doing, or if you really don't want to move and you'd rather change careers than move. Those are all factors to weigh, and I don't think anyone can necessarily answer those but you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
We'll take one more from the back and then one more from the front. I'm sorry, guys. I'm almost out of time.
I like your Flareon.
Hi. Hi. I was just wondering, do you have any advice on dealing with balancing work and study? Because I'm currently working part-time and studying at college for graphic design, and some days I feel like it's too much.
What's your job?
I work as a barista.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty active job. I mean, I used to work at a luggage store, so I had a lot of downtime to crack open a book and stuff like that. Flashcards always helped me out. Oh my God, I'm talking about college. This is so weird. Flashcards, just quick, digestible ways of studying, prep those things before and then maybe pull them out of your apron every now and then.
Yeah. I think just making sure that you're taking care of yourself first and foremost. I think a lot of people get too stressed out about work and school and having to prioritize those the most, but I think the priority should always be yourself and your mental health. So make sure that is in check first. And then I think, honestly, if you have to take less hours and maybe struggle for a little bit and cut costs on certain things just to get through school and to make sure that you're set in that and that you get through it is probably more important than your future as a barista. I imagine you would prefer to focus on graphic design, was it?
Yeah, graphic design.
Graphic design.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Oh, hi. I was wondering what techniques you guys have for a partner who snores really badly.
Hit him.
Well,
I'm
going
the
camping
best
with Miles Luna for 2 weeks, who's the world's worst snorer. Earplugs were helpful. And then also acknowledging the problem and saying, hey, get fucking nose strips, you monster. Or just, putting a pillow on top of their face and suffocating them. And then
I'm the snorer in the relationship, so if you get a good answer, let me know and I'll try it.
Yeah. I don't have any advice.
Trevor's perfect. He doesn't snore. He doesn't make a peep.
I talk in my sleep. So there's been mornings where he's like, you said something in your sleep. And I was like, what did I say? And he's like, I'm not telling you.
Does she say anything intelligible?
Sometimes, yeah.
Bernie's a talker and a snorer.
The best of both worlds.
But he only talks when he's just about to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
And he only snores when he's on his back. So figure out what the snoring situation is, and then never let them get there.
And then get no
And if
strips.
they do, sharp elbow.
Right.
Good
Best
luck.
of luck.
That way you don't have to wake up all the way. But yeah, no strips, call him a monster. Neg him a whole bunch.
Should do the trick. All right, guys. Well, I hope you've been having a wonderful time at RTX London. Thank you all so much for coming out to the event and to our panel. And thank you guys so much for joining me on stage.
Thank you. Shout out to not pooping.
It shakes them.
Oh, God.
You know you want to click that dirty link. Do it. Now.